The vintage Porsche 911. Is it the ultimate sports car? Let's find out. Well, in terms of its looks, I say yes. It definitely has that ultimate sports car look. You could tell its history from just looking at it. The Volkswagen Beetle, Porsche 356, and then, in 1965, the 911. Ferry Porsche actually wanted to call it the 901, but Peugeot already had dibs on that name. From every angle it looks great. This one, of course, the classic Targa body style. I really love the 911's shape. To me, it's the quintessential sports car, especially the 80s version here. The interior is sporty, Spartan. It's very simplistic. Everything you need and nothing you don't. The bucket seats contour the body well. They're also very comfortable. Leather was, of course, an option. To me, one of the coolest things about the interior is the key placement. It's for a Grand Prix start. Racers used to run, jump in, start the car, and take off. And that's why it's on the left-hand side. Gauges from this era usually come in black. These are in white. I definitely like the look better. Easy to read. A lot of people also flip the tachometer so that red line is straight up and down. No cup holders or consoles here. You pull these up for heat. You get a real handbrake. 5-speed manual gearbox. Here's the ventilation right there, and this one has the optional air conditioning. I've actually taken the compressor out. Even has the optional cruise control too, which works great. Aftermarket stereo, and nothing you don't need. Power windows there, and of course the beautiful Porsche emblem right on the steering wheel. I like the way some of the controls work with that German quirkiness. This one here releases the gas filler tank. Pretty cool. You do actually get 2 usable seats in the back. Usable, that is, if you're a kid, and trust me, kids love it back there. But you can also fold them down for really convenient storage. You'd be surprised how much you can fit back there. It's a great design, and the 2+2 seating helps to lower the insurance a bit too. A cool design feature of this Targa is that you can remove this top, fold it in thirds, and then store it up here in the trunk. Very innovative engineering. This is how you release the engine cover. And there it is, that famous single overhead cam 6-cylinder engine. It produces 186 horsepower. Porsche says you can expect a 0 to 60 time of about 6.5 seconds, but I think it's a bit faster than that, right around 6 seconds. Of course, it's got that legendary behind the rear axle placement, and of course, legendarily, it's air-cooled, no radiator. You can expect fuel economy of about 18 miles per gallon overall, any way you drive it. It does hold 21 gallons, so you can go pretty far on a tank, and I think that's pretty cool. So the Porsche 911, by now it's achieved legendary cult status, and for good reason. It's just an amazing sports car. Rear-wheel drive, plenty of power, and great balance while in the turn. Of course, you've got that heavy rear weight bias, but you know what? I think it's great. It's really a driver's car. If you don't know what you're doing, don't drive it. The shifting is not easy. It's very tough to shift. It's not a quick shifting car. You know, it's just clunk into gear, clunk into gear. Clutch is extremely heavy, so you don't want to learn how to drive a stick on this car. You will definitely stall, trust me. That is, of course, the vintage ones, the 80s ones, which I prefer. And, of course, I am a traditionalist when it comes to the 911. I like the air-cooled versions. So, basically, the ones after the late 90s, to me, well, they have radiators, and to me, they're less traditional. Now, the way they fine-tune them, and with the traction control, and in some cases, all-wheel drive, of course, they're even better performers. But to me, I like the bit of danger that the 911 brings. As I said, it's a driver's car. This is a man's car. No offense, but you know, it's very tough to steer, and it's very tough to control, but when you do, it just rewards you. I love the fact that it has 4 seats, or the optional storage area back there when you can fold them down. It's a very useful car. It's a comfortable car, especially when you take the top off on a nice warm day, driving through the country or your favorite back road. There's really nothing like it. That sound of the engine back there wailing, it's just a great sound. It's a symphony. I rarely even have to turn the radio on. Looking over the hood, your outboard vision is truly amazing in the 911. You can see all of the road up front and there's no blind spots. Plus, you got that kind of froggy look up front, the traditional German kind of Volkswagen Beetle, Karmann Ghia, Porsche 356 thing going on, and I just love that shape. You know what type of car you're in when you're driving the Porsche 911, and to me, that says a lot. I used to drive a 4-cylinder Targa sports car, and I decided I wanted an upgrade. So to me, the Porsche 911 was the best choice, and I went for the 80s 911 SC Super Carrera, because that one is supposedly bulletproof, and it's been extremely reliable. I've had it for almost 10 years now. Now don't get me wrong, I do love Ferraris, but the Ferrari that I really like is the 308, 328, and to me, this one offers all that performance, and it offers it for less money, and I think with much more reliability too. The 911 is a car that you can drive every day. As I said, it's comfortable, and I just think it looks great. You know, I would prefer to buy a slightly newer one that has airbags and even side airbags too, but that puts me into the water-cooled versions, and I just can't make myself do it yet. Maybe someday. I like the very recent models because they look more to me like this one, the vintage 80s Porsche 911s. The 70s ones were nice too, but I think that this one with the 3-liter engine is more reliable, and it's really very quick. You know, 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. By today's standards, it's not real fast, but you're faster than most cars on the road today, and you're also able to handle much better than most every car on the road. In the turns, it really is as hard as you can hold on. It just grips and grips and grips. So I'm cruising along here about 60 miles an hour with the cruise control on, and it's kind of servo actuated, so it does speed up and slow down a little bit, so you've got to watch it to make sure you don't get a ticket, but it does work, and this is a surprisingly comfortable car. Now, this being a Targa, you know what? I have a brand new Targa top on this one, and they do leak. They definitely leak. Targas leak. That's the end of the story. So, you know, just like with the convertible, you're going to get leaks sometimes. With the Targa, yeah, it probably has leaked at some point. So be careful when purchasing one. You know, look under the floorboards, make sure they're not rusted out. This one had a hair bit of rust on it when I bought it, and I took care of it. And some of it, depending on where you live, can creep back over the years, but you can maintain it. Not a lot of these are really rust buckets, but buyer beware, definitely want to be careful. In terms of pricing, the air-cooled 911s are really starting to get quite popular, so the prices are going up. But, you know, they start for really a basket case, probably around like $7 grand if you need a ton of work on it, and go all the way up to about $30,000 if you have a factory slant nose convertible, something like that. It's going to be much more. I've seen them creeping up close to 100,000, but they're getting very popular. They're going up in value because they're starting to be bought back in Germany, and these air-cooled 911s are really getting popular, and they're really getting rare too, so a good one will cost you. They say to buy the newest one you can afford, but I think you got to cut that off at the late 90s, of course, if you want the air-cooled version. But to me, into the early 90s, those are the best one, like 93. I really like the shape of those, and really after like the 2000s, creeping into the later 2000s, when they started to go with the round headlights again, those are my favorite of the new variants. And you know, with the 4, Carrera 4, and the 4S, and the turbo, of course, and all those variations. I mean, you can get a real screamer. Some of them, of course, are modified by companies like Roof, and even Gambella did a great job of modifying the 80s ones back in the day. And some of them look amazing, like the Avalanche, and Gambella still actually makes them. So there's a lot of people that modify them, so you can really get something rare if you want. I like the white gauges in mine. You can just do a lot to customize them because there's a lot of parts available, but you know, this is just a great sports car, and you can live with it every day, and that says a lot. It's got the speed, it's got the performance, but it also has some comfort, and it's pretty reliable too, surprisingly. Of course, when you need something done, well, you could certainly spend enough money to buy yourself a used Honda if you want. So buyer beware when you're looking at these, and make sure that, you know, it's not just the price of the 911, but have some money for maintenance too, because when they need something, it's quite pricey if you don't know how to do it yourself. I put on later model turbo twist wheels, which really help. They lower the car a bit, and they provide a lot more traction, but any way you equip it, it still has tons of grip, even with the standard Fuchs wheels. Now, I can't say enough about the Porsche 911. To me, I just have so much fun with it. Even when I look at it, it just puts a smile on my face. Pop the top off, and you got the wind in your hair, and it's just a great feeling. And like I said, that sound of that engine behind you, it's just amazing. So, is the Porsche 911 the quintessential sports car, and in particular, the vintage 80s version? To me, I say absolutely, absolutely yes. I'm Drivin Ivan Katz.